major research university with tens of thousands of students trying to access the internet through the equivalent of a single US household connection. That is the current situation in most African universities. Even when they have access to journals theoretically online, very few people are able to download it. My name is Idris Bello. I am an MBA candidate at Rice University, and I am the business director for libraries across Africa, a new social venture that aims to provide the most access to information to the highest number of Africans at the least amount possible. Less than 4% of Africans have access to broadband internet, compared to 13% in Asia, 40% in Europe, and 60% in the US. That is 800 million Africans without broadband access. But why does this matter? It is projected that in 2020, broadband access will be to the economy what electricity was to the economy in the 1820s. A recent World Bank study has shown that for every 10% increase in broadband penetration, developing nations grow their GDP by 0.5%. Simply put, each year, due to broadband deficit, Africa is losing about $90 billion in GDP, possible GDP growth. It also hinders the potentials of individuals, that is the lack of access, hinders the potential of individuals and communities in terms of health care awareness, education, and economic growth. But luckily, the situation is changing. There's a lot of work going on right now to build and to expand the fiber optic infrastructure across Africa. And it is projected by 2020, the broadband penetration in Africa will go from currently less than 5% to 20%. But access is simply not enough. Libraries across Africa, LAA, aims at going beyond access to provide an entire enabling environment to empower communities by deploying a network of modern public libraries along the expanding fiber optic infrastructure in Africa. Each LAA library will consist of 3 parts. The first part will be the physical anchor, which ensures community investment. The second part will be a modular e-hub, which is essentially a modified shipping container that is fitted with the hardware, software, and broadband access to digital resources. The third part will be an agora, which is an open covering that will provide physical space for studying, socializing, and civic activities. How are we different from other library initiatives or book drives? We're differentiated by our focus on empowerment rather than just access, and our unique ability to be able to deliver multiple business and educational services at multiple places across Africa for the least amount possible. Current state. LAA was seeded last year, 2010, by the World Bank Institute, and we have since then grown from a concept to production-ready design. At the moment, we're evaluating 3 sites in Ghana, South Africa, and Nigeria for potential pilots in 2012. By 2020, we aim to have deployed over 5,000 libraries to empower over 25 million underserved Africans, leading to improved productivity, more transparent governance, and social engagement. Our team is comprising of construction and IT professionals and MBAs with significant experience in running companies in Africa. Currently, we are seeking $250,000. $250,000 for our initial pilot in 3 locations in 2012. We're also looking to partner with individuals and organizations with aligned interests and objectives. In closing, libraries across Africa seeks to empower Africans with the greatest access to information at the least cost to the highest number of people. we ask you to join us as we revolutionize the future of African communities by ensuring that Africa gets a seat at the 21st century knowledge-based economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bello.
You got the plug now.
I'll get a question. Yeah?
I've got a three-part question. The first, I think this is a fabulous initiative, but through its nature, it's really decentralized, which usually has high labor costs. If you don't have labor costs in the community run, I didn't quite understand what you said at that point. How are you going to ensure sustainability then in terms of maintenance, etc.? The second one is, where are your revenue streams, and will they be able to pay for what will be significant infrastructural costs? And the third one is, what happens in some countries, I could be more specific with you afterwards, but what happens where you've got countries spending a lot of money, for instance, and increasing mobile and telephony and internet connectivity already? Is that not a potential competitor? And have you taken that into account?
Okay. I'll take those questions. Thank you. The first one is about the labor cost and other things on ground. One of the significant points for us is the importance of partnership. And the way this is structured, which is what the anchor, I spoke about 3 parts of the library. The anchor is a physical building that has to be donated by each recipient site. It shows that investment. It ensures that it's not just a US organization coming to put a library there. This is owned by the community or by the organization. So it shows that investment in the whole project. And so we also, and in partnering, we're looking for credible organizations who have a prior history of doing similar things in those locations that we're working in. And so we expect them to understand the layout and all the local issues. In addition, the anchor could actually be a new building, or it could even be an existing library building. And we are going to attach the e-hub, which we deploy with the Agora to that building. So that's saves, so you don't have to rebuild a new library if you already have an existing building that can serve the anchor's purpose. And in our case, we're manufacturing in bulk, initially in Houston, but we might ship over to Africa, the shipping container. And we've already been in discussions with several shipping companies that are willing to donate their shipping containers to us for free. So that's a cost that's taken off. Second point, and the second point was about?
So the potential
revenue streams. So we've identified 7 revenue streams, because this is going to be run as a social hybrid. The CapEx part of it, the capital expenses, which is the biggest one. Each library right now, each e-hub, initial cost is about $30,000. So that CapEx part, we expect it to come from non-profit organizations, CSR, companies operating in different places. We'll be in discussion with the Gates Foundation, with the Carnegie Corporation, and similar organizations. So we expect the CapEx to come from that. But we're very focused on sustainability, environmental sustainability by using the abandoned ship containers, but also financial sustainability. Our goal is, by the end of 12 months, each library should be financially sustainable to generate revenue that's going to be used to maintain those libraries, but also to build new libraries. So 7 revenue streams. First one is internet access. It's going to be low, but it's not going to be free. Second one is what we call the on-demand book printer. We've been discussing with Xerox, and they have what they call an espresso book printer, which means I can be here, download an e-book, and go to bind and print the books. What does that do? So in rural Ghana, where students do not have access to the books they need, what's going to happen is you will talk to book publishing companies, get a subsidized rate for e-books, and there in Ghana, you don't have to ship the books. There in Ghana, you have actually created a book publishing company, because you can buy those books for cheaply, very quickly, and you can print it at that point in time. So you actually start revenue. Reprographic services, then also we're going to use the Center for Testing and Training. So community testing and training, so you get money from there. There's also advertising. If you look at the picture I provided, so inside and outside of the e-hubs, we expect to brand them, Google, Coca-Cola, and get advertising revenue. So there are a couple of revenue streams. We have identified 7, and I can provide more details about that. Your last question was about potential competition with mobile. It's complementary, not competition. Let me tell you what I mean. Today, a lot of Africans have mobiles, right? So what we intend to do as we scale up is, beyond the library, we're going to create what we call LAA zones, Wi-Fi zones. So even though, let's say the 40-foot container can only take 50 people at a time, if you have a cell phone and you subscribe, and that's one of our revenue models, we're going to create subscription, where like the same way you buy recharge cards, you're going to buy LAA cards. And so if you subscribe to us, you don't have to come into the e-hub. We create a Wi-Fi zone, and on your cell phone, you have access to the latest science journal, the latest nature journal, just by being within the zone. So you are complementing with the use of cell phones, and you're not competing with that. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, thank you.